Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Monster, episode 74.
The finale.
This is the finale, y'all. This is it. The final episode of Monster. Mm-hmm. There are no second seasons. There are no comebacks. There are no live action Netflix adaptations. Mm-hmm. Yep. No reboots. No nothing. Here we go. Mm-hmm. I really, though, just not even kidding, hope that this one actually gets a live-action Netflix adaptation.
It would be so amazing.
It would be so good. And yet we still haven't finished the show yet, y'all. Yep. Wow. Johan has been stopped. I'm going to call him Hoyan for a second there.
Ho and Johan.
Yeah, exactly. Johan has been stopped. Mm-hmm. He is not dead, though.
Right.
And it seems like instead of having some conversation at the end of the world, we're going to have a conversation between these two men.
In a surgery recovery room. Yeah.
Yeah, in a hospital room. Where this all kind of began.
Which is so perfect and so crazy and... Oh, man.
We have a lot of characters, though, in this show. And I think that the only thing that's big enough for them to warrant an entire episode, basically, for, a conversation with Johan and Tenma, is that, one, the conversation is going to be good.
Yes.
But also, there's other characters as well who have stories that need to be tied up a little bit.
Right. Well, Anna's thing of saying, I forgive you, and even if we were the last two people in the world, I would still forgive you. Mm-hmm. That was amazing. They could still give us more.
They could.
They
could. Yeah. And in a lot of ways, I think maybe Tenma and Anna or Nina need a conversation as well. Maybe post Tenma and Johan conversation.
Right. And then, of course, there's Lunge, because he's still kicking.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on.
There's still a possibility that him and Eva could end up together.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
But y'all, Monster. Final episode. Stay tuned to the end of this reaction discussion to hear about the next show reaction we'll be doing after this. But y'all, without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay.
Reading. Carl and
また発音が違うぞ。彼はどうした？あの日本人医師は。
世界中を飛び回ってるとか聞いています。
そうか。いつかあの男ともう一度会いたいものだ。
Whoa. And what about the devil?
Things have
One
changed.
last time.
The real monster.
Okay.
仕事を始めた。そりゃよかった。でどんな仕事に？
インテリアコーディネート。
なるほど。
キッチンのコーディネー
ト。
What? Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
Yeah, this is funny.
今までろくにキッチンなんかに立ったことないんだから。
じゃあ、俺のうちのキッチンをお願いしようかな。
That is funny.
いいわよ。
焦っても同じように今日は過ぎゆき、明日は来る。
Yep.
Wow.
幸せっていうのはそんなもんだ。
Yes.
And the fact that he was saying that is huge.
Ava, yo.
Oh, gotcha. So I guess he was saying that to her.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
不思議ね、人間って。悲しみはどんどん薄れていって、楽しかった記憶ばかりが残っていく。人間って都合よくできてるわよね。
Whoa.
だから生きている。
Relevance for Johan, maybe?
Well, kind of, yeah. But also just, everything that's gone on.
この人がバーデマン弁護士。あなたにかけられた嫌疑を晴らしてくれた人です。グリマさん。
511キンダーハイム出身。東ドイツの諜報部員としてジャーナリストを装い、世界中を旅行。だが結局分からずじまいに終わったのはあなたの本当の名前だ。
But this can be his real name.
名前だけじゃない。
Lunge.
彼は何も語らずに言った。
Wow.
ルンゲ警部。
このところ娘とよく会話するようになった。
Good.
会話といっても 電子メールだ。
Starting off slow, right?
これまで私たち親子は何も語らずに過ごしてきた。たくさん話したいことがあったろうに、うまいビールを飲みながら。
Yeah.
なんかあったらすぐに言ってくれ。私もドクター・ギーレンもいつでも力になれる。リーターと、そして彼もな。
よろしく伝えといて。
God, Ava's gonna find happiness. Just that's all I need.
ドクター・テンマ完全な
so the real monster.
警察当局はドクター・テンマに謝罪の意を表明。
That's good. That's good. But is the real monster thing going to be about the idea of this whole thing happening?
青年の正体は。
ディータ
ー。
でかくなったな。
ヘッケルおじさんはちょっと見ないうちにますますずる賢そうになったね。
相変わらず口の減らねえガキだね。
テンマ帰ってきたのかよ。
帰っていたらどうすんの？
ちょっと前に奴から引き受けた仕事、経費と労力考えると
報酬が全然足りねえんだよ。簡単に人探しとか言いやがってえれえ苦労したんだ。警察のマル秘資料盗むまでしたんだぜ。
Wow.
Holy crap.
Tenma.
お待ちかねですよ。このところいらっしゃらなかったから。
An orphanage, maybe?
Probably.
Oh, no way.
Wait a minute.
No way.
Wait a minute.
No way.
Hold on a sec. Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's the yeah, okay.
命。数えきれない遺伝子。
Oh, wait.
メンデルってご存知？
Wait, is it the mom?
遺伝の法則の。
私、
So, yeah.
メンデルと同じ大学に通っていました。
Yeah.
何でもお話できそうな気がする。どんな怖い話でも。私に聞きたいことがあるんでしょう。
あなたは双子のお母さんですね。
Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
私はあの男を決して許さない。私が死んでも私の中でどんどん大きくなっていく子供たちが必ずあの男に罰を下す。手を離さないで。手を。
Wow. And then she was
本当の
alone.
怪物は誰？あの子たちは生きているのね。
Yep.
ええ、元気です。
Oh, they're
Okay.
killing us here with not showing Johan. Oh,
All
here
right.
she is. Here
Okay.
she is.
What about Johan? Like,
Oh.
二度と思い出せないかもしれない。今言わなきゃ。あの子たちに名前をつけた。
Oh, no way. Oh, no
way.
子たちの名前は、
Are they not gonna let us hear? Yeah, of course
No,
not.
not. Of course
Wow. Oh, she's late for school again.
not. Oh my gosh.
相変わらずの遅刻常習犯だな。約束の時間に10分遅れだ。
すみません、クローネッカー教授。
まあいいだろう。ところで君の論文だがトップだ。これは私が教えたこれまでの学生の中で最も優れた論文だ。
Wow.
ありがとうございます。
君の志望は？
弁護士です。
Whoa.
君
Okay.
によって多くの人が救われることを祈る。
Damn.
ただし法廷では遅刻は許されないよ。
Yes, that's very true.
フロイライン・ニーナ・フォルトナー。
Nina Fortner.
Yep.
Nina Fortner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that smile as
Yeah.
あ、リータ卒業どうだった？ダメでも僕がついてるよ。新たな模試。今度会った時慰めてもらおうかな。 早く帰っておいでよ。すぐにってわけにはいかないんだ。何言ってるんだよ。テンマが帰ってくるんだよ。いつ？明日には帰るって。だからニナも早く。
Okay, but when are we gonna see Johan?
ああ、ニナ、明日の予定なんだけど、ごめん、ちょっと行けなくなった。
Wow.
テンマに会える。
Oh.
Okay, but they're killing us
I
here.
know, I know.
They're killing us.
I know.
ご苦労様です。
Oh. This
Here
is
it
where,
is. Here
yeah.
we go. Here we go. Is he functioning though? That's the thing I'm curious about.
Right. Or is he still recovering?
Yeah, I think he's still recovering. That's the point. Yeah. Here he is.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. He doesn't look
あれからず
horrible.
っと眠り続けているね。
Oh.
He's in a coma?
Oh, he's been in a coma.
君の本当の名前を聞いた。君には名前があった。
And he's not getting to hear this. But come on, this totally gonna be a thing
Yeah,
of,
like,
he is hearing
like,
this, you know. Oh. My God. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
どちらかを残してどちらかを連れて行く。
Wow. Yeah.
さあ、どちらを連れて行く？
Wow.
離さないで。離さないで。母さん。手を。離さないで。
The coin flip, basically.
こっち。やだ
ー。Oh.
母さんは僕を助けようとしたの。僕と妹を間違えたの。どっち？いらなかったのはどっち
Oh, wait. That was a dream. Wow. Wow.
Not necessarily, Jacob.
Well.
そろそろ行くよ。
Oh my God. The real monster. Oh my God.
And then he's gonna open his eyes, just like back then. Wow. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
No way.
Okay. All right.
Well.
All right.
Well.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course. Oh my God. Oh, and they...
Oh, what a...
Oh. So here's the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
What will Johan do now?
Whatever he wants.
Well, right, but like, has he been able to heal? You know.
I think the natural extension from this is that he heard his name.
Right. Yeah.
He knows okay.
He knows who he is now.
Yeah.
This ending was amazing.
Wow.
And it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's meant to piss you off.
Because here's the thing. The resolution to all the characters' journeys and everything's fantastic and all that stuff.
Yes.
But the thing that we've been wanting this entire time that they built up perfectly to be able to do, which is to have a conversation with Johan.
Might not have even happened.
Well, one, might not have even happened, but two, we didn't really get. Because all that we got there, we got Tenma talking to Johan while he's unconscious, right? Or potentially unconscious, right? Feigning unconsciousness, whatever. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then potentially Johan waking up and positing a question to Tenma, after which, if that was real, he brainwashed Tenma or whatever to make him think he was all a dream, or, or something like that. Make him wonder if it was all a dream, something. But the point is, we didn't get an actual conversation. At best, if that wasn't a dream, we got two almost unrelated monologues at each other that were short.
But here's the thing that's really big here. Johan, I believe, was conscious the whole time.
I think so too.
I think he was basically utilizing whatever he knows about the human body to basically feign a form of rest. And if anything, I think he was resting because his time as being a monster maybe is over with.
Well, and also the idea that like Johan's mind is so powerful that just because he's resting his body, that doesn't mean he's not busy.
Well, yes, but let's talk about the philosophy of this whole thing here. Basically, we have the monster, as we've known him, resting here comfortably, having been saved from death, basically, by his pseudo father figure in this weird kind of twist of events. When Tenma returns to Johan, he says, "I found your mother. She loved you both. She loved you very much." And then Johan poses the question.
Right.
And here's, I think, the beauty of having this question be brought up. Because we understood that on some level they were doing the switch back and forth where they would bring one, take one, alternate basically in who they were taking basically. But they made it seem like it was more or less a thing of like, well, just one of them happened to be there during the time when the whole Red Rose Mansion massacre happened.
Right.
Stuff, right?
Which was Anna.
Which was Anna, not Johan in this instance there. However, Johan was the first to be taken. That's the point here.
Well, okay, sure, because they had interacted with these kids before with the book readings and and the things like that. Right. Yep. Hence why Johan was dressed like Anna and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
People can become anything.
Exactly. So Johan's potential whole thing up until this point was that the monster was not the people doing the experiments and stuff.
It was the mother that gave them up.
It was the mother that was able to make a choice in that instance.
Right.
Because here's the thing. I don't think that that's something that constitutes as this was the cause of everything.
Right.
What it is a very important question that needs to be posed here. Is that when you have this perfect coin flip 50-50 here, the only way to win is not to play.
Right, exactly.
But I think as a young child, I think this was an impetus for certain things to become off with Johan specifically, was that the mom just randomly ended up choosing Johan. But maybe if you're that geniusly smart, you're that intelligent and stuff, because this is what I would do, you would go into over-analysis mode about like, maybe she knew. Maybe Anna clung harder to her hand than I did. Maybe there was a inflection in the voice. Maybe there were all these things. Yeah. Was she actually trying to save me and accidentally gave me up? Or was it that she didn't care about Anna, and does that make her even worse?
Exactly.
And that's that analysis, kind of over-analysis thing that I think would drive a person a little crazy.
Especially when you're a kid.
Begin the push.
Especially when you're a kid. Because the thing is, like...
So I love it. I love it because it is, I would say, answering finally the question of the nature versus nurture argument. I think they've hit that. They basically sealed the deal here in almost a definitive swing of more than, it's not above 50% in a certain direction now, but it's above like 70 to 80% in a certain direction now.
Very, very much a nurture argument.
A nurture argument, yes. Because what they're saying is that if Anna had been just picked for whatever reason.
Well, no, she was picked.
Oh, Anna was picked?
Yeah, she was the one that ended up going to the Red Rose Mansion. Or are you saying picked to stay with the mom?
Okay, actually, that's a good point. Because it's irrelevant who was picked.
Well, maybe. But the thing is that the power to fight back on behalf of someone else is usually much more powerful than the power to fight back on behalf of yourself.
Yes,
I agree. You can have extenuating circumstances where it's different because the whole
survival instinct
is very strong, right?
It doesn't kick in for other people,
right? But I feel like that's something that's more in the moment. Whereas whereas if you want like a vendetta, that's more of that works better when it's something that was done against someone else, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so maybe like if it had been the other way around and Johan had gone there, right? And all of this stuff had happened, would Anna have done the same kind of stuff that Johan had done of trying to shoulder everything herself, or would it have turned into this like, all right, well, just the two of us will make it, on our own kind of a thing and all that,
right?
Or
okay, gotcha. I like that a lot more, but I can also put it in a way that it doesn't really matter who was picked. It was just the idea that she chose.
Right, exactly.
And that's something that no mother would ever do. Let me just tell you here right now. There's a lot of things you can say about someone in this situation here. But a mother who loves her kids and is scared silly by this whole situation, I think that it would take a very detached person, a very broken, extremely broken mother to basically choose.
Well,
instead of making them choose.
That's the thing that's so insidious about this.
Yeah.
Is that this has been going on for some time, right? And if anything, this is basically when
the Red Rose Mansion experiments have been going on.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
But not this experiment.
No, right. This is a new experiment. It's the newest, latest, and greatest. You know. But the thing is that this is something that's been happening for a while. She's tried to escape with them, and it hasn't worked. She's learned time and time again.
Yep.
That even
her husband.
Exactly. Even when she thinks she's safe and she can finally get away, nope. Doesn't work, right?
Yep.
So the
the whole setup.
Right. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. And are you
gonna say something?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
So my big thing here is that with Johan as a character and such, the constant debate has been whether or not this is a nature thing, that's something that was innately born within him, or not. And I would say that they're up until this point, or up until more recently, with regards to the whole Red Rose Mansion secrets being revealed and stuff, and them going more in depth into it and giving specific details regarding like who was where and what and all that. It's been pretty up in the air, but they've been moving things more and more towards the nurture side of things, and I would say it's not just to humanize Johan, but I would say it's to, in some ways, humanize the idea of a monster. And the real monster, and I think the way that they're bringing this up here is that those kinds of choices that you make when you're basically pushed up against a wall, you're in a corner, you're a cornered animal basically, and you're reduced down to your maybe baser instincts of survival here. You might make monstrous decisions that have monstrous consequences down the line that you could never foresee.
And the thing is that like the mom might have been thinking like, okay, like it doesn't really matter, it's a 50-50, so I'll just sort of like pick one at random, because it's a horrible thing anyways, and maybe by playing along with their game I'll make things go smoother, like they won't do anything even worse. But to Johan as a kid, that's the monstrous decision. That's the
right. But the thing is that there's been this whole issue with memory all throughout this show.
Yeah.
Lots of people remembering things that they didn't want to remember. And Nina Fortner, which I'm liking that they had her whole thesis thing be there to basically say, it doesn't matter what her real name is. She's chosen Nina Fortner.
Right.
She's going to create her future as Nina Fortner and move on from the past. Johan's whole thing is that he's never really forgotten the past. Or not that, it's just that his path put him into encountering the past over and over and over again. And it spiraled him out of control to where we are right now, where he was going to mass murder, suicide everyone.
Right. His future was dictated by his past. It wasn't something that he chose himself for himself, kind of a thing.
Well,
like he still chose it, but it wasn't.
He chose it.
But like
he chose it.
Yeah. But it was something. It was not. He wasn't moving on, basically.
No, he was not moving on. That's the thing, is that when you have a past this horrible and traumatic, can you move on?
Right.
So his, in the pseudo dream thing of him posing the question of, who is the real monster here? In some level, I think that's one that could be in in Tenma's head, of him basically saying, I don't know, now that I've, basically closed the book on this whole Johan thing, whether or not I can really blame Johan. And that, I think that confusion, that aspect of Tenma being maybe unsure,
right? Well,
I think is good to have just put a magnifying glass on,
right?
But I still think that was a literal encounter.
I think that's you have more options for like just juicy theorizing and stuff when you think of that as having actually happened, because otherwise it's just a thing that's contained to Tenma's head and basically his musings, rather than I remembered what I was going to say.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was easy, like for me, I kind of forgot that the mother was potentially still alive until Tenma went and found her.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because, Johan and Anna just left, right?
Yeah.
But if she was still alive, that meant that most likely when Anna ran away and found Johan and they talked and everything, she told him all about it, that was back at the mom's house. Then, from there, they left.
Yeah.
Right? They left. And a lot of that decision could probably be traced back to that decision, the fact that she was able to make a choice.
Yeah.
Because then suddenly she's not safe, right? There's the whole idea of she might not be able to protect us and all that stuff, right? But that we can't trust her, right?
Wow.
We only have each other. We are the only two people left in the world, right? And then suddenly the whole idea of Johan needing to take care of his sister that just had this whole traumatic stuff and everything, and needing to do all these things to make sure that they're taken care of and that no one knows about them, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, that makes a whole lot more sense, right? Because originally I just sort of assumed that, like, at some point the mom died, like, just because they ended up on their own. So I figured, like, everyone, they were treated as orphans, so I figured they actually were orphans, Not necessarily.
Yeah, but you're right.
And that ties into the real monster thing, because then it's the idea of it's not the experimentation and stuff, because that's out there, right? And when it's out there, you can deal with it as something that's out there.
Yeah.
And you can keep your walls up and try and fight it off as best you can, right? Even if you can't really win, the battle. But when it's something when the fortress itself catches fire, right? What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do? And the whole idea of Johan then leaving, right? That could be something where it's like, okay, he's going to find his mother. That could be something where he knows his name now, but they never actually showed Tenma telling the name, and he was about to, but then the whole dream thing happened. So, maybe he never actually got that far. And if that's the case, then now it's a thing of, all right, Johan has to now, he's not leaving a burning fortress, right? He's
right.
But
yeah.
But he still doesn't have a home to go back to in a lot of ways.
In the ways he's become no one now. He's done essentially what he wanted to do all along.
Although there was the whole case, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. If Johan disappears now...
Yeah, he's just the legend of the super serial killer.
Yep.
That just... Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Should anyone be able to find him again, ever, if they wanted to? Like, if Johan didn't want them
maybe
to?
in 30 years when technology gets a bit better, and... Yeah,
but that's
20 years. That'd be about this time.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Johan, at this point, might have just won. Because here's another thing: what has been incepted into Tenma's head just now, via this whole thing, regardless of whether or not that encounter actually happened. Their little.
Well, the idea is that Johan, that there was a monster worse than Johan, kind of a thing, or that the reasoning behind why Johan became the monster that he became, or
Right, or it's more that the idea that monsters like Johan are created that easily.
Sure.
Now, obviously there are a lot of extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
But I think it's more more insidious to think that it was started because of a simple decision.
Right, exactly. Something that even if she was pushed to the edge and and from her perspective maybe she was doing something with their best interests at heart potentially, like who knows, in that situation, but something as simple as a simple, just a decision, right? That feeling of a betrayal from someone close to you that might have not at all been, what they intended, right?
Wow.
That's all it can take.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things of you were saying how it's better if it was Anna, and you're almost certain it was Anna, the one that was taken here.
Yes, it definitely was Anna. They changed.
So they weren't doing a switch back and forth.
What do you mean?
They weren't constantly coming back and taking the other kid and then switching them back and basically.
No, not from this point forward.
Not from this
point
forward.
They might have had stuff where there were still the readings at the Red Rose Mansion and everything. And we know that Johan was at those, and maybe Anna was too, I'm not sure.
Okay, I think I misinterpreted that then and made it seemed like to me that they were doing a thing of where they would alternate the two, and that's why his memories were getting confused.
I mean, they might have done that as well during the book readings, but when they did the super serious stuff that ended with
the massacre,
right?
That was Anna. That was Anna.
There. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And in a lot of ways, this is kind of the thing that's crazy, is that Tenma might not be aware fully of this because this is something that wasn't really communicated, or was it? Actually, I should go back and check.
What?
Because Johan might have been telling him that Anna was the one basically taken. So Anna almost should have become the monster if not for what Johan did.
Right, exactly.
Now that's obviously the part that makes what Johan did from his perspective kind of a heroic thing, basically. Right. Yeah. So back then that monster appeared before me.
Yeah.
Don't touch these children. Don't come near me. We're going to leave one and take the other. This is an experiment. Now, which one will we take? They both basically say the same thing. Don't let go of my hand.
She's about to give Johan, and then she gives Anna instead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, here's the thing that's crazy here, is that in this part, they're both holding on tight.
Yeah.
And when she says, this one, instead, and she's like, no. And she says, this one, and she's giving it away. The one who's crying
is Anna.
Right?
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
Yes. One we know because they confirmed it previously when they talked about it and everything, but also the voices you could tell one was a little bit deeper, more a boy's voice, and then Anna's voice was definitely a girl's voice.
Right. But the monstrosity of the act of basically saying either I'm saving you, or I'm mistaking you for your sister. That's a perspective that paints Johan only in the worst light, basically. Wait, no, it doesn't. What am I talking about?
Wait.
Never mind. Forget what I said right there. that was stupid.
But
But basically, if it was exactly like that, then we have, I mean, explicitly, yeah, because it was. You're right. That was Anna. That he's basically saying that there. Then Johan saved Anna. Like that's the thing. That's basically this whole thing.
And Klaus Papa saved Anna.
Yes. Yes. In a lot of ways, Johan's madness came about by his
taking on everything that they did to Anna, basically.
Yeah.
And making it like, yeah, that's fine.
I did that.
Right. That was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's crazy because in some ways it's part, it's part horror, but it's also part like their little, scientific experiment or what have you. The idea that he could basically perfectly imbibe those memories and turn them into his own thing via his own madness that he had been subjected to.
Have Anna give a detailed enough report and things like that, and then psych out Anna enough so that she thinks that it was Johan actually that went through all that stuff, and he had just told her all about it. Yeah.
And then goes and starts to do all these crazy things from then on out, specifically to protect Anna.
Right.
And then end up basically in the whole situation where instead of getting some kind of, safety or reinforcement or what have you, they then end up splitting up and going to the separate orphanages.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because in some ways you think about Johan's procedure of events. Kinderheim should have been his moment of redemption.
If he had gone to a proper orphanage.
If he had gone to just a decent orphanage,
right. Like the same orphanage as
never happened.
Yep. Yeah, because in a lot of ways, like, because the thing is with the stuff that happened at the Red Rose Mansion, I feel like that gave Johan the tools, right, to do all the things that he ended up doing.
Right.
Whereas Kinderheim basically stripped away
almost everything.
Almost everything. So that one thing that he had left during the Red Rose Mansion thing, Anna, right, doing everything for Anna, right? He didn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Right, and yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. It's really powerful how this story boils down to identity, really, in a weird way. Like a lot of stories that are coming of age stories or have some kind of
crazy to think of Monster as a coming of age story, but yeah,
it is. It's a coming of age story for the villain. It's really dark, twisted, reversely non-linear told story,
and in some ways for Tenma too, because it's him basically losing his innocence in a sense of being at the hospital where everything's fine and good, and then basically seeing what's actually out there in the world, and coming out the other side wiser for it, and things like that,
and then bringing all that good things that he's learned back to the original place, and then starting the Doctors Without Borders stuff, and
coming full circle, going back to the hometown, essentially, and realizing how much you've changed, and
God,
oh man, but like, because
I just wonder if this is what the monster thing is. Is that basically it? Is that the monster is
well, I think the idea is that there's it's the whole idea of there's the potential for people to be monsters all over, right? And understanding that is the only way you can truly fight it, right? Hence the whole thing of Anna's saying, "I'd forgive you even if we were the last two people in the world," right?
Wow, yeah.
Which is absolutely excellent and amazing, and it's that gives me hope that basically that Johan, even though he's doing it in his own Johan way, he's going to find peace, and and the healing process has begun, right? Even if because of the insane just presence that Johan has built up, and the whole idea of the unknown being what we fear most, of course they have to have him disappear from the hospital bed, and it's like, oh, where is he now?
Who knows,
but
do you think that they're trying to make a point specifically about not just the nurture side of things, but how on some level the the value of input specifically to children, because children are a huge theme of this story, to not just, I would say, Johan and Anna and the Kinderheim orphans, but
even
and stuff,
like Dieter,
but well, specifically a lot of the adults too, who are not allowed to grow up,
right?
And basically how much value we need to put on properly nurturing children,
right? And
it's not really to do with how children are innately good, even, because we see a lot of kids in this story
that do
show
vicious
some
things,
really vicious things,
right? But the idea is that,
but it should never be put into question about the nature of a child, like, even at all. I mean, this is my own bias showing, I think, a little bit, because I think they're communicating it almost entirely throughout the show, is that at every point where there was an opportunity for maybe the nature of goodness that survived the horrible nurture side of things, the horrible nurture stuff was doubled down on for someone like Johan, or even for the people like, the people that were in, horrific instances where they weren't basically allowed those kinds of things, like, you look at Grimmer, for instance.
Sure.
He had his nature survive throughout that, but it was something where he never really retained his original nature as a child.
It was almost like he had to specifically resurrect it in some, necromantic thing of basically creating what was like reanimating what had been put to death. Like,
and it wasn't even possible until he was about to die.
Yeah. Yep. That was when he became a real boy.
And then you have Roberto, who also was essentially this person who we've assumed was just this evil scumbag, was a Kinderheim kid.
Yep.
And we now find out not only that, but he was influenced by the same horrific, monstrous decision that touched Johan. So in some ways, they might even be saying, like, we think about how this story covered a lot of years, like a span of a large number of years of time.
Yeah.
But the actual effect of that decision that they saved basically to the very last, episode here could probably be felt on every character in the show. Like, I almost want to say that's kind of the ripple effect thing that they're trying to put out here.
In a thematic sense or in a concrete sense, because it affected Johan and Johan in turn affected everyone else?
Both.
Okay.
I would say maybe not as much in the literal sense.
Oh, interesting. I would have said more in the literal sense.
Okay, well, here's what I'm saying here. Here's what I'm saying here. You have Tenma. And Tenma is in some ways on his whole thing here because of a rippling effect from Johan.
Sure.
So you cover pretty much every character with just Tenma and Johan. Like, if you think about it.
Oh, sure.
Almost every character in the show is covered by just those two.
Right. That's what I was meaning by the literal thing.
Right. Right. I would just say that it's a bit of a stretch to say that everything Tenma did, was influenced by that.
One thing you could say, though, is that it's not necessarily just the whole idea of the decision that affected Johan directly with the mom, but it was also the fact that this started with a decision between the mayor and Johan, right? It started with the decision of who is Johan going to save, right?
Whoa, and choosing lives.
Exactly, choosing lives. And it ended with whose life is going to be saved. And in both cases, Johan was in there, and both times he was picked.
Johan was picked,
right? So, that's...
Wow.
Yeah.
And at that point, he had no memory of what his mom had done. He was Kinderheim washed at that point, so he had no knowledge of that.
He remembered Anna, and that was it.
He had just the most basic stuff going on with him.
I've got my sister.
Yep. I found her again. Oh my God, I'm never gonna leave her.
Yeah. And I get the feeling this show.
I can't wait to rewatch it because I'm already rewatching parts of it in the dub.
Oh yeah,
in the earlier parts of Monster, and it is just a lot of value in the early parts of the story specifically because you do see things being seeded towards a specific end here.
Yeah, and like the entire cast is like Critical Role, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot of really good voice actors, but it's more just Liam O'Brien.
Yeah.
Liam O'Brien as Tenma is really good.
And that's pretty good reason enough to rewatch in the dub.
And Johan's really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got this. Oh, Dr. Tenma. Like
that's because I went back and watched the Junkers scene.
Yeah, it's that scene's crazy. But like this is a show, y'all, that needs to be like revisited by just the mass market, like and everything. This is a
Guillermo del Toro. Please make a live action.
Yeah. Like this is Naoki Urasawa, right?
Yeah.
Urasawa. Freaking Urasawa, y'all. I want to consume more of the stories that he's he
has more.
Yeah, I know he has more, so I just want to get into them then. The last big thing I want to say surrounding this story is that we actually got probably the best ending.
I know. And the whole thing is,
you realize that and you go, wow, like Johan did win because in some ways his goal was never any of this other stuff.
Right.
Like his goal was always to save Mina, to save Anna.
And he did it. Right.
So in some ways the ending was that thesis conversation. I just want to put that out there as a way to think about, like, you know, Tenma's goal was to save as many people as possible, right? By saving Johan in this final act here, he might have ended the whole cycle entirely.
Sure. Yeah.
Because before this, he was able, I think, to save Johan because of him saving Anna, who then basically held him back from killing Johan. So I love how those three characters are tied so tightly together in the final moments of this story, despite actually only being on screen together for one scene.
That's the thing.
One scene.
Because this ending is amazing with leaving the hospital bed and everything. It's perfect, right?
Perfect.
But still, it's the idea that, like, the amount of actual time we've gotten with Johan and the idea that we, like,
Yeah. I don't know. I want to, you know, because this story and everything is one that, you know, is ended, it's over and stuff like that. I kind of want to enter the comments and stuff and see thoughts from you guys. And we'll have to see if there's a way we can just make sure that it's actually safe from other show stuff.
Right.
But let's be real, y'all that are here actually watching, like, the monster stuff and things like that, y'all are the truly cultured ones who are like, Monster, the show that, like, needs more attention, but it's just not flashy enough for everyone else.
But speaking of which, since Monster's over, we have a show that's, like, coming after this, because after a year and a half it's done.
Right, for sure. We will talk about that, but before we do that, I just want to pose a final question to you guys regarding the whole idea of Johan's journey and nature versus nurture. What do you think were the key moments in his life journey that basically nurture won out over Johan's nature desire to protect Anna? And if you have a different view on things, I want to hear about it. I want to hear all I want to hear all the thoughts, the speculation, the discussion around Johan's decisions over the course of his life. That we saw in this story. So
So the next show
is just recently decided on Patreon. Is Parasite. Parasite the Maxim.
Yes.
This show was decided amongst a list of fantastic masterpiece, I would say, even level shows. A little bit of older stuff. We're trying to shift the Monday slot into being a little bit of an older one, but Parasite's source material, at least, is rather old.
Right.
So it comes highly recommended.
Yes.
And that's what's going to be replacing the Monday slot from here on out. So thank you all for watching this episode's reaction, discussion, and finishing this series.
Yeah, and getting us to watch this show.
just is that good. It's actually that good.
It is.
And I could see some people actually saying that this ending detracts from the overall story and stuff. But I think that you might have been expecting something different out of this story.
If anything, I would say there might have been some points along the way that could have been done a little bit better. You know, just like for like the holistic, like, you know, on rewatch, there will probably be like, oh yeah, this episode, you know, was you know, but like, that's so far the exception.
Now, I still put my my stamp of approval on Monster being a masterpiece, like an actual masterpiece. I don't equivocate masterpiece with perfect. I equivocate masterpiece with being a story that has every reason for everyone to consume, basically, on some level.
The idea that it's absolutely fantastic, it stands the test of time, and it's an experience that you won't really get anywhere else.
It'll be an eternal show in terms of storytelling. So thank you all for being here and for hanging out. We love you guys. If you want to see the first episode's reaction to Parasite the Maxim, though, you got that early access thing on Patreon, so go check that out in the link in the description below. If everything works out well and we find a format that works for non-timer-based slots and stuff, full-length reactions are going to be also there on Patreon. But yeah, if any of that interests you, you also get access to our private Discord where you can chat with us about Monster. We can actually go into the Monster Spoilers channel now and kind of talk about this whole thing with y'all. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So yeah. All right. We'll see you all in the next one. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And Monster.
Yep.